Welcome back to Steffi Fan's channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that has left the entire Forrester family and their extended circle in a state of profound shock and disbelief. The tranquil halls of Forrester Creations are about to be rocked by a confession that will send ripples through the lives of everyone connected to the recent tragedy at the beach house. What started as a mysterious text message has evolved into a full-blown revelation that threatens to uncover layers of trauma, guilt, and unexpected connections that bind these characters together in ways they never imagined possible. The story begins with Electra Forrester, a young woman who has already endured more than her fair share of family drama and romantic complications, receiving a cryptic message that stops her cold in the middle of her busy day. The text arrives without warning, the sender's number unfamiliar, yet somehow local, and the words etched across her phone screen claim responsibility for the most talked about incident in recent Los Angeles memory. Someone has admitted to being behind the wheel during that fateful moment when Luna Nozawa's life came to a tragic end. And this anonymous confession leaves Electra frozen, her mind racing through 1,000 possibilities. The message itself is brief but haunting, containing just enough detail to be credible, yet not enough to satisfy the torrent of questions flooding Electra's thoughts. How did this stranger obtain her personal cell number? What compelled them to reach out to her specifically, rather than coming forward to authorities or the family directly? The timing of the message, arriving in the quiet hours of early evening, suggests a conscience burdened by secrets, someone wrestling with the weight of their actions while the city sleeps. As Electra processes the initial shock, her fingers tremble over the touchscreen, contemplating her response. The art of crafting a reply becomes a delicate balance between accusation and inquiry, between demanding answers and coaxing them out gently. Her first instinct is to fire off a barrage of questions, to demand immediate clarification and proof, but wisdom prevails. Instead, she types a measured response, asking simple, direct questions that might reveal more through their answers than through the questions themselves. She asks about the night in question, about the location, about details that only someone truly present would know. The exchange that follows, though conducted through the impersonal medium of text messages, carries the weight of a courtroom interrogation, each word chosen carefully, each pause between responses stretching into eternity as Electra waits for the next piece of this disturbing puzzle to fall into place. Realizing she cannot navigate these treacherous waters alone, Electra seeks out the one person whose judgment she trusts implicitly in matters, both personal and professional. Katie Logan, with her years of experience in the fashion industry and her intimate knowledge of Forrester family dynamics, becomes Electra's confidant and sounding board. Their meeting takes place in Katie's office, a space that has witnessed countless business deals and personal revelations over the years, but rarely one with such grave implications. Electra lays her phone on Katie's desk, the screen still displaying the incriminating text thread, and watches as Katie's expression shifts from curiosity to concern to outright alarm. Together, they dissect the messages, analyzing sentence structure, word choice, and the subtle implications hidden between the lines. Katie's seasoned perspective brings new dimensions to the mystery, suggesting possibilities that hadn't occurred to Electra. Could this be a prank? A misguided attempt at attention? Or could it be genuine, the confession of someone drowning in guilt and desperate for absolution? They compile a list of potential suspects, ranging from obvious choices to peripheral figures whose connection to the events seems tenuous at best. Each name a thread that might unravel the entire tapestry of deception. The unsettling nature of the confession hangs heavy in the air as they discuss the implications. If the texter is telling the truth, then the narrative that has dominated headlines and water cooler conversations for weeks is fundamentally wrong. The official story, pieced together from witness statements and forensic evidence, suggested a tragic accident involving an unidentified vehicle. This new information implies a cover-up, a deliberate evasion of responsibility that transforms a horrible accident into a potential criminal matter. Katie and Electra agree that the situation demands discretion, Moving too quickly or going to the wrong people could spook the confessor into silence or, worse, send them running. They decide on a course of action that involves gathering more information before involving law enforcement or family members who might react emotionally rather than strategically. This decision weighs heavily on Electra, who feels the burden of knowledge pressing down on her shoulders, the secret becoming a physical presence that follows her through the marble corridors of Forrester Creations. Later that same day, as golden our light streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Forrester Design office, painting everything in warm amber tones, Electra attempts to lose herself in her work. The design sketches spread across her drafting table, fabric samples arranged in careful gradients, and color palettes that normally bring her joy now seem flat and lifeless. Her concentration is shattered by the sound of footsteps approaching, a distinctive rhythm that doesn't match the usual cadence of her colleagues or assistants. When she looks up, her breath catches in her throat. Standing in the doorway is a figure from her recent past, someone whose presence here, in this sacred creative space, feels as jarring as it is unexpected. Dylan, the art instructor who had overseen Hayes Finnegan's summer enrichment program at the beach house, materializes like a ghost from a chapter of her life she had hoped to close. The memory of those summer days comes rushing back. The scent of salt air and paint thinner, the sound of children's laughter mixing with the crash of waves, and the ease with which she had grown to trust this woman with her young cousin's creative development. The recognition is immediate and mutual, though the circumstances could not be more different from their last encounter. During those summer sessions, Dylan had been all flowing skirts and paint-splattered smocks, her hair tied back in a careless bun, her hands always stained with the vibrant colors of her students' imaginations. Now she stands before Electra in tailored trousers and a crisp blouse, her appearance professional, but her eyes betraying a turmoil that contradicts her composed exterior. Electra's mind flashes back to the pickup times, the brief conversations exchanged while Hayes gathered his supplies, the implicit trust that had developed between them. She remembers how she had insisted on having Dylan's contact information, just in case of emergency, a standard precaution that any responsible guardian would take. That simple exchange of phone numbers, a mundane moment of parental diligence, now takes on monumental significance as Electra connects the dots with startling clarity. The mystery texter hadn't obtained her number through some nefarious means or elaborate hacking scheme. She had given it to Dylan herself, freely and without suspicion, never imagining that this art teacher would one day use it to deliver such devastating news. However, even as these realizations click into place in Electra's mind, like the tumblers of a lock falling into alignment, Dylan's purpose in seeking her out remains unclear. The woman doesn't launch into her confession immediately. Instead, she engages in the kind of small talk that feels both desperately needed and excruciating under the circumstances. She comments on the beauty of the design office, asks about Hayes and how he's processing the traumatic events of the summer, shares a few anecdotes about other students from the program. This preliminary dance of conversation serves a purpose beyond mere politeness. It allows Dylan to gauge Electra's state of mind, to build a fragile bridge of trust before crossing into the territory of her true purpose. Electra, for her part, plays along, though every nerve in her body screams with impatience and dread. She watches Dylan's hands, noting how they tremble slightly when she picks up a fabric swatch, how her fingers trace patterns on the surface of the conference table as if seeking comfort in texture and design. When Dylan finally broaches the subject that has brought her to this place, the atmosphere in the room shifts palpably. She doesn't blurt out her confession. Instead, she begins with a preamble that reveals the depth of her internal struggle. She speaks of sleepless nights, of dreams that aren't quite dreams, but replay the same horrific moments in endless loops, of the weight that has settled on her chest and refused to lift. She mentions the media coverage, the way news outlets have speculated and sensationalized, creating a narrative that feels both close to the truth and fundamentally wrong. Electra listens, her professional demeanor cracking as empathy wars with the need for hard facts. Dylan's voice, steady until this point, begins to waver as she approaches the heart of the matter. She describes the night in question not as a news report would, with cold facts and linear timelines, but as a living nightmare. A sensory overload of screeching tires and shattering glass and the sickening thud that still echoes in her ears. The confession that spills forth is raw and unvarnished, devoid of the polish that comes from rehearsing explanations or crafting excuses. Dylan admits that she was driving along the coastal road that night, her mind occupied with mundane concerns, perhaps replaying a conversation from earlier or planning the next day's lessons. The road had been dark, illuminated only by her headlights, cutting through the thick marine layer that often blankets that stretch of highway. She had been traveling at a reasonable speed, not reckless, but not crawling either, when movement at the periphery of her vision caught her attention. By the time her brain registered that the movement was human, that Luna Nozawa was stepping directly into her path, it was too late for anything but instinctive reaction. The squeal of brakes, the feeling of the car shuddering as the anti-lock system engaged, the horrifying moment of impact that seemed to happen both instantaneously and in slow motion. Dylan describes the aftermath, the way she had sat frozen behind the wheel, her body refusing to respond to commands, her mind unable to process what had just occurred. What makes this confession particularly devastating is the context that Dylan provides about her history with Luna. During the chaotic events at the beach house, Luna had targeted Dylan specifically, recognizing her as a potential threat to whatever twisted plan she had been orchestrating. Dylan recounts the terror of being locked away, held hostage in a supply closet, while Luna's madness unfolded on the other side of the door. She describes the feeling of helplessness, hearing snippets of conversation, the sounds of struggle, knowing that young Hayes and others were in danger while she remained trapped, unable to help or escape. That experience had left deep psychological scars, a trauma that she had been working through with professional help, trying to reconcile the vibrant, artistic soul she had known as a student with the dangerous, unhinged woman who had held her captive. The irony that Luna's final act would be to jump in front of her car, of all the vehicles on that road, strikes Dylan as either a cruel twist of fate or a final, desperate act of self-destruct that inadvertently punished the very person Luna had once victimized. The investigation that followed the accident had been thorough, but ultimately inconclusive regarding intent. Forensic evidence supported Dylan's account, the tire marks on the asphalt telling a story of sudden braking, the damage to her vehicle consistent with an impact at the exact moment she described. Witnesses from nearby homes had heard the crash, but seen nothing, the darkness and fog conspiring to keep the truth hidden in shadow. The police had questioned Dylan extensively, their skepticism giving way to acceptance as the evidence aligned with her story. She had been cleared of any criminal wrongdoing, the incident classified as a tragic accident, yet the exoneration by law did little to ease the burden on her conscience. She speaks of the media frenzy that erupted, the way reporters camped outside her apartment, the speculation that ran rampant on social media, the theories that ranged from plausible to absurd. Through it all, she had maintained her silence, guided by legal advice and her own paralyzing guilt, until the weight became unbearable and she reached out to Electra, the one person whose number she had, the one person whose connection to both Hayes and the Forrester family might provide a pathway to some form of resolution. As Dylan's confession winds down, the emotional toll visible in the slump of her shoulders and the tears she can no longer hold back, Electra finds herself processing a kaleidoscope of emotions. There is relief, of course, that the mystery has been solved, that the anonymous texter has revealed herself and proven to be someone Electra once trusted. There is sympathy for Dylan, who has clearly been suffering in silence, tormented by an accident that was not her fault, yet has defined her existence for weeks. There is anger, too, directed at the unfairness of it all, that this woman who had already endured Luna's cruelty should be further burdened by Luna's final, desperate act. And underlying everything is a profound sadness for the loss of life, for the tragedy that has touched so many people connected to the Forrester universe, leaving none of them unchanged. The confession, while answering the immediate question of who was behind the wheel, opens up new avenues of concern and contemplation about fate, responsibility, and the interconnectedness of their lives. The bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate that Elektra's reaction will be complex and multifaceted, reflecting the depth of the revelation she has just received. She will struggle with the decision of what to do with this information, weighing Dylan's obvious distress against the family's right to know the full truth. The confession creates a bond between these two women, forged in the crucible of shared trauma and unexpected connection that will likely influence their interactions moving forward. For Dylan, this moment represents a turning point, the first step toward reclaiming her life from the shadow of that night. For Elektra, it is another chapter in the ongoing saga of a family that seems to attract drama and heartbreak with magnetic force. Next, we will dive deep into the shocking departure that has left the soap opera world reeling. Lisa Yamada's final curtain call as Luna Nozawa on The Bold and the Beautiful. The devastating conclusion to Luna's storyline has sent ripples through the CBS Studios community, marking the end of an era for one of daytime television's most compelling character transformations. While the fictional residents of Los Angeles may not be shedding tears for the departed Luna, the real-life cast and crew are grappling with the loss of a phenomenal talent who brought unprecedented depth to their screens. The explosive finale unfolded with a masterclass in dramatic irony that only the bold and the beautiful could deliver. Luna, believing she had finally outsmarted the authorities and secured her freedom, found herself trapped in a fatal paradox. Her escape route became her death sentence. Thursday's episode showcased Yamada's extraordinary range as Luna sprinted through the streets, a mixture of triumph and desperation playing across her face. The production team orchestrated a meticulously choreographed sequence where Luna's momentary smile of victory froze as she stepped directly into the path of an oncoming vehicle. This wasn't merely a random accident. It was the culmination of months of building tension, a poetic justice that resonated with viewers who had watched Luna's descent from innocent newcomer to full-fledged villain. The scene required multiple takes, with Yamada performing her own stunts for the close-up shots, throwing herself into the emotional and physical demands with the dedication that had become her trademark on set. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere was electric yet somber as Yamada filmed her final moments. Director Cynthia J. Pop, known for her visceral approach to pivotal death scenes, worked closely with Yamada to capture the perfect blend of shock and acceptance in Luna's eyes. The stunt coordinator spent hours mapping out the car collision, ensuring safety while maintaining the raw impact needed for such a significant character exit. Yamada's commitment extended beyond the performance itself. She spent her last days on set documenting every moment, creating a treasure trove of memories that would later become her emotional Instagram tribute. The crew presented her with a custom cake emblazoned with lunatic in bold frosting, a nickname that had evolved from fan criticism to term of endearment, acknowledging the wild ride they had all shared. Yamada's Instagram farewell post became an instant viral sensation, amassing over 50,000 likes within the first hour. The carefully curated slideshow offered fans unprecedented access to the actor's journey, featuring never-before-seen glimpses of the CBS Studios lot where Luna's chaos unfolded. One particularly poignant image showed Yamada's first daytime Emmy, a testament to her meteoric rise in daytime television. Behind-the-scenes photos revealed intimate moments, Yamada rehearsing lines with co-stars in the hair and makeup room, laughing between takes on the Forrester Creations set, and striking playful poses with the show's iconic wardrobe pieces. The lunatic cake photograph sparked a flood of comments from cast members who had witnessed Yamada's transformation firsthand. Her caption, "So many tears shed, blood spilled, friendships formed, and memories made on it bold and beautiful CBS. What a ride it's been! Hope you enjoyed the adventures 3 Lunatic Forever perfectly encapsulated the emotional roller coaster that defined her tenure on the series. The cast's emotional outpouring in the comments section revealed the profound impact Yamada had made during her time on the show. Annika Noel, who plays Hope Logan, didn't just praise her colleague, she extended a heartfelt invitation for future collaboration, writing, "She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment missing you already superstar. We still have to do a TikTok together. Come back and kidnap Hope anytime." This playful yet sincere message hinted at the genuine friendship that had developed between the two actors, with Noel's reference to kidnapping nodding to Luna's most dramatic plot lines. Lawrence St. Victor delivered a masterclass in praise, his comment reading like a critical review of Yamada's versatility. "You're an absolute warrior. To carry story the way did and command the screen is nothing short of amazing. To play the innocent ingenue, then the evil villain, to the broken character that just wants to be loved. Chef's kiss. You're amazing." His words acknowledged the three-act structure that Yamada had navigated with seemingly effortless grace. Jacqueline McInnes Wood, the show's veteran leading lady, offered both congratulations and prophecy in her comment, "Proud of you, rockstar, exciting time. Many more incredible adventures around the corner. Enjoy the Rhea D." Her message suggested that Yamada's departure wasn't an ending, but a launching pad, with the elongated Rhea D emphasizing the journey ahead. Rebecca Budig expressed regret over their limited shared scenes while celebrating Yamada's resilience. "Wish I could have done more with you, girl. They threw so much at you, so many words, so much emotion, and you rocked it all." This acknowledgement of the intense demands placed on Yamada, particularly the notorious B&B dialogue density, highlighted the actor's professional stamina. The comment thread also revealed the show's lighter side, with Christian Weissman humorously protesting his absence from the slideshow. "Cool, so where am I?" Has just opened a floodgate of similar jokes, with cast members playfully competing for spots in Yamada's visual memoir. The production team and crew added their voices to the chorus of admiration, with many sharing stories that never made it to air. One lighting technician revealed that Yamada had developed a reputation for staying late to perfect her scenes, often working one-on-one with the directors to understand the psychological motivations behind Luna's most twisted actions. A wardrobe assistant disclosed that Yamada had personally selected many of Luna's final outfits, believing that the character's clothing should reflect her fractured psyche. These behind-the-scenes contributions demonstrate how deeply Yamada had immersed herself in the role, becoming a collaborative force rather than just a performer. The show's executive producer reportedly held an impromptu celebration on the soundstage after Yamada's final scene, complete with the lunatic, cake, and heartfelt speeches that left few dry eyes among the crew. The narrative significance of Luna's death cannot be overstated, as it resolved multiple storyline threads while creating new dramatic possibilities for the remaining characters. Her fatal encounter with the car served as a narrative exclamation point to a character journey that had spanned from victim to perpetrator to tragic figure seeking redemption she would never find. The scene's placement within Thursday's episode was deliberate, occurring at the 37-minute mark to maximize impact before the final commercial break. Showrunner Bradley Bell had reportedly considered several exit strategies for Luna, including a prison storyline or a permanent institutionalization, before settling on the sudden death as the most thematically appropriate conclusion. This decision allowed for immediate fallout in subsequent episodes, with the Finnegan, Forrester, and Spencer families all forced to grapple with the aftermath of Luna's crimes and her shocking demise. Fan reaction across social media platforms exploded immediately following the episode's East Coast broadcast, with Lunatic forever trending nationally within minutes. YouTube reaction videos garnered hundreds of thousands of views overnight, as longtime viewers processed the loss of a character who had evolved from background player to central antagonist. Reddit forums dedicated to the bold and the beautiful saw thread counts spiked by 400%, with fans debating whether Luna's death was earned or rushed. Many praised Yamada's ability to make them simultaneously root for and against Luna, citing specific episodes where her performance elevated material that could have felt melodramatic in less capable hands. The character's complexity, her desperate need for belonging, that curdled into violent obsession resonated with viewers who appreciated the psychological depth Yamada brought to daytime television. As Yamada moves forward from the bold and the beautiful, industry insiders speculate that her powerful exit has positioned her for significant opportunities in both daytime and prime time. Her ability to navigate a complex character arc while maintaining audience engagement has not gone unnoticed by casting directors across the television landscape. The daytime Emmy she earned during her tenure serves as concrete validation of her talent, while her professional reputation built on punctuality, collaborative spirit, and fearless performance makes her an attractive candidate for future series regular roles. Soap opera veterans who successfully transition to other formats often cite the rigorous schedule and demanding dialogue as excellent preparation, and Yamada's mastery of these challenges suggests a bright future ahead. Representatives for the actor have reportedly been fielding inquiries from streaming platforms and network pilots, though Yamada herself has remained characteristically gracious and focused on the present moment. The legacy of Luna Nozawa will undoubtedly influence the bold and the beautiful storytelling approach for years to come. The character's rapid evolution from sympathetic figure to dangerous villain set a new template for how quickly a performer can be integrated into the show's core mythology when armed with sufficient talent and compelling material. Yamada's success may encourage the writer's room to take more risks with newer characters, trusting that skilled actors can anchor even the most dramatic tonal shifts. Meanwhile, the void left by Luna's absence creates immediate dramatic opportunities for the established characters, particularly those in the Finnegan family, who must now process their complicated feelings about a relative who brought such chaos into their lives. The car accident location itself may become a memorial site within the show's universe, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the high-stakes world of Forrester Creations and its interconnected families. In conclusion, while Luna Nozawa may not be mourned by the fictional denizens of Los Angeles, Lisa Yamada's departure represents a significant loss for the bold and the beautiful family. Her journey from newcomer to award-winning central player demonstrates the transformative power of dedicated performance and compelling writing working in perfect harmony. The tears shed on set, the blood spilled in Luna's final moments, and the friendships forged during Yamada's intense run have left an indelible mark on everyone who worked alongside her. As fans, we were privileged to witness a star in ascension, an actor who made us love to hate her character while earning our deepest respect for her craft. The ride may be over for Luna, but for Lisa Yamada, the most exciting chapters are surely still to come.